Incoming Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz on Monday says the Israel Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu can visit Germany despite the arrest warrant issued on the Israeli leader by the International Criminal Court, ICC, over Israel war with Palestinian fighters, Hamas in Gaza, just as Merz also said that his government will do all he could to build good ties with President Donald Trump-led U.S. government, but he's ready for the worst if the U.S. decided to act otherwise. Friedrich Merz, who spoke in his native language during a press conference in Berlin, Germany on Monday, said he would make sure Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu could visit Germany despite the ICC arrest order. The press conference, held a day after his Conservative Christian Democratic Union (CDU) party won national elections, saw Merz saying he had told Netanyahu in a congratulatory phone call that the pair should meet after a new German government is formed. Friedrich Merz, in his words, as interpreted and reported by Al Jazeera, said, in the event that he, Netanyahu, plans to visit Germany, I have promised myself that we will find a way to ensure that he can visit Germany and leave again without being arrested. I think it's a really absurd idea that an Israeli prime minister can't visit the Federal Republic of Germany. He will be able to visit Germany, Merz said. Netanyahu's office has said Merz had invited the Israeli prime minister to make an official visit to Germany, in overt defiance of the scandalous International Criminal Court decision to label the Prime Minister a war criminal. In a statement on Monday made available by the Office of the Israel Prime Minister, indicated that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had a warm conversation with Friedrich Merz, who, following his victory in the German elections, has become Chancellor-designate, and congratulated him on his victory. Chancellor-designate Merz thanked the Prime Minister for the conversation and said that he would invite him to make an official visit to Germany, in overt defiance of the scandalous International Criminal Court decision to label the Prime Minister a war criminal. It would be recalled that, in November 2024, the Hague-based ICC issued arrest warrants for Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, as well as Hamas commander Mohammed Deif, on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity. Both Israel and Hamas say Deif was killed in July in an Israeli airstrike, and Deif has not been seen in public ever since. AFP International News Agency also reported that the German Conservative election winner Friedrich Merz said Monday that he would seek good ties with the United States under President Donald Trump, but was also ready for the worst-case scenario. I hope that we can convince the Americans that it is in our mutual interest to maintain good transatlantic relations, Merz said at a press conference, a day after his CDU-CSU alliance came first in national elections. But as always, you have to deal with the worst-case scenario, he said, warning that all the signals we are receiving from the United States indicate that interest in Europe is decreasing. Merz also said he had a lengthy call with Emmanuel Macron late Sunday, as the French president headed to Washington to meet with Trump. We discussed the topics he wants to address with the American president, and I found that there was complete agreement between what he wants to say and what I want to say on transatlantic ties, Merz said. International relations between US and the European countries apparently began to strain when President Donald Trump brushed aside European allies when he declared his readiness to resume diplomacy with Russian President Vladimir Putin and to hold talks without the involvement of European nations or Ukraine. President Donald Trump thereafter was apparently seen to have repeated Russian talking points about Ukraine's supposed responsibility in starting the war, raising concern in Europe that Donald Trump would agree to Moscow's terms. AFP also reported that the US Vice President, J.D. Vance, also caused shock in Europe this month when he used a speech at a security forum in Munich to criticize the EU on issues ranging from immigration to free speech. Earlier, we reported that Friedrich Merz, the newly elected incoming German Chancellor, has said that his aim is to achieve Europe independence from the United States, saying, "The current US President Donald Trump cared less about the security of European countries and promised to work with the prime ministers and leaders of other European countries to set up alternative Europe Defense Alliance Treaty Organization by June 2025, when the meeting of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, will be held, adding, Ukraine will be put in a position of strength.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.